for liking, sharing, and subscribing to our YouTube and Spotify channels, and writing in your comments and suggestions on the channels. Today, we are going to talk about Kritika Nakshatra and its symbols. The symbols form an essential part of all the nakshatras because they have a major effect on us. The symbols can be understood in the way that the quality of the symbol, that is, for example, when we talk about Kritika Nakshatra, one of the qualities of the Kritika Nakshatra symbol, that is the knife, is that it is very sharp. This is the first thing that comes into our mind. So we will find that people who have strong Kritika Nakshatra can be very sharp. Now, is it associated with your Lagna? Is it associated with your second house? Or is it associated with your ninth house? If it is associated with your Lagna, it could mean that you are a very sharp-minded person. It could also mean that your ability to perceive a situation can be very sharp. If it is associated with your second house or the second lord, it means that you have the ability to be very cutting in your speech, or your speech has an edge to it. Or you, whenever you're in a debate, because it could also relate to your fifth house, so the debate would come into picture there. And if you are in a debate, you would have a cutting edge over others. If it is, like I said, associated with your ninth house, so there's a clarity of thought in your mind. Ninth house talks about the truth as we see it, or the clarity in life. So if it's associated with the ninth house, it can give us a clarity of thought. So we can take this Kritika Nakshatra's symbols and understand so many things that it brings to our mind. First and foremost, as we talked about it, it is sharp. Yes, it is also dangerous. Generally, we associate Kritika with danger with also, not just because of the knife, but many other components of it, and the knife adds an extra value to it. A sharp knife, if the person who's handling it does not know how to work with it, it can be an object of danger also. Again, in the hands of a person who is manipulative, who has ulterior motives, it can be dangerous. So if you have a sixth lord sitting here, or the eighth lord sitting here, which has a lot of malefic effects, you can be machinative, or somebody else who has this in their chart, they can be very machinative, they can be very manipulative in their way of doing things, and these people can be a potential danger to many people. Again, it can be life-saving or life-taking. When we've talked about life-taking, because it can also lead to robberies, the eighth house, such people can be murderers. They can have such a huge anger if it's associated with the sixth house also and the eighth house also. These people can have huge angers that can lead them to their own fall. They can do things which they can later on regret. But at the same time, if it's a benefic association, say Mars aspected by Jupiter in Kritika, then such a person can be an excellent surgeon, because Mars gives you surgery, Jupiter gives you the wisdom, and this nakshatra gives you a precise cut or the ability to be a great surgeon. So depending on whether there is a benefic influence or a malefic influence, it can be decisive, it can give you a life-saving or life-taking abilities, and it also gives one protection. Ever wandered in a in a very in a lane which is in the middle of the night, where there is absolutely nobody around, and you wish you had a protection? Well, a sharp knife does act as an ego booster, knowing that yes, somewhere we can defend ourselves, somewhere we can take care of ourselves, especially with such a lot of things going on. So this also acts as a protection. One can also use this nakshatra to protect themselves from a lot of unsavory things that might just happen to them. They might have the insight, they might have the ability to gauge the situation and then take good care of themselves or take the right path. We also understand that this nakshatra is inflexible, non-flexible. The knife, as we know, is made of a very hard metal and does not show much flexibility. These people, once, especially if it is associated with the Lagna, they have a very strong view in their mind. And as far as the the nakshatra placement in the second pada of this nakshatra, that is in Taurus, goes, such people are very determined in their path. They do not want to be deflected, and they cannot be deflected once they've set up their minds. Again, it because it is the nakshatra which is associated with sun in the Vimshotri Dasha scheme. If we see the placement of the sun of in the chart, then also we would be able to understand as to which area of life a person is very clear about, person does not want to change their views about, and which is the area of life that a person would give a lot of protection to or can save others from. We need to understand one thing, that no matter what happens, these people would rather break than bend, because the knife, when it is pushed over an edge, will crack, would bend into pieces. They are likely to break but never bend. So this is one thing that comes very strongly from these from this nakshatra. Let us see a couple of examples to come to a better understanding. For Subhash Chandra Bose ji, his lagna is in the first pada of Kritika in the sign of Aries. We see that since it's an Aries sign, it means a leader, and his inflexibility or his non-flexibility, his sharpness is all about having a very clear idea about his own self, his principles, what he wants to do. There I have used his chart number of times, and a number of nakshatras have shown that he was always very precise about what he wanted to do. He let go of things in his life. As I said, it is also about cutting. It is also about letting go, which is not required, because the knife cuts out those areas which are not required. He let go of those things in his life that he very easily at that he felt there was no need for such things in his life. And we see that the sun, which is the Vimshotri Dasha lord of this nakshatra, is Digbali in the 10th house. So about his career, about his profession, and he made saving his country from all outsiders a mission in his life. The sun talks about your mission in life. And as it also aspects his 4th house, mother and motherland became a very strong content in his life, and he was able to protect them. He had very clear ideas about what he wanted for his motherland, and he was inflexible in that point. He did not want to deflect from his path. People could not deflect him from his path. His leadership, because it's an Aries sign that we see here, was very clear to begin with. If we take up the chart of Paulo Coelho, again, he's gone through a lot of problems in life just because he did not change his stance in his life. He wanted to become a writer, and he was forced into doing things or becoming an engineer. He did not bend. He was brutally penalized by his own parents. He did not succumb to those things. He ran away from home, and he finally became a writer of international repute. That is the kind of inflexibility that we see. His need to cut those people off from life because they did not understand his way can be also seen in his biographies, in his autobiographies, and his writings. Finally, when we're talking about the Taurus Lagna, and we see in Bharti Singh's case, who is an Indian comedian, she rose to great heights at the time when beauty is, and in an industry which is so beauty oriented. She had weight issues. She did not let that pull her down. And this is the sign of Taurus. Taurus is a sign of materialism. She made sure that her family was protected, had enough resources, because the sun again is sitting in the 2nd house of family, 2nd house of money, and she was very practical that she wanted to earn money to protect her family. And no matter what problems she came across in life, with a very fixed mindset that yes, it is important to earn money the right way and to be a good comedian so that I can take care of my family, I can protect my family, as we're talking life-saving things. Very sharp in her approach, very direct in her approach, but because there is an influence of, as we see, Mercury and Venus, two benefits on Sun. So whatever she says, she wraps it up with a lot of joke, humor, and being a comedian, it comes easily for her. Conclusion is that these people are sharp, these people are can be very dangerous, and these people can be very inflexible in their attitude. They know that they have to do things to save life. Last but not the least, when we're talking about Subhash Chandra Bose ji, he had a dictum: give me blood, I'll give you freedom. And that is something that goes so beautifully with his Lagna Lord, his Lagna being in Kritika Nakshatra, saying, I will save lives if you can give me those lives whom I need to save the lives. Till we meet with you again, do let us know how you found this video.
Please hit the bell icon for fresh updates. Don't forget to like, share, and comment on the videos, and please subscribe to our channel.